You can bet in a heartbeat that I make quality videos.
Lost Phineas and Ferb episode where Perry is called to investigate what Dr. Doofenshmirtz is up to, because Carl the intern got a hold of some intel that Doof has been seen speaking to lawyers and looking up the Endangered Species Act at internet cafes, and as Major Monogram says, something fishy is going on. Meanwhile, Phineas and Ferb's subplot of, I know what we're gonna do today, is that Isabella needs her environmentalist Fireside Girls badge, so they start researching which species are in urgent need of help in the tri-state area, so they can use new cloning and gene therapy technologies to bring at-risk animals back from extinction. Yes, there is a C-plot where Buford and Baljeet argue the ethics of this idea. I don't have time to explain it all for you right now. We cut back to Doofenshmirtz Evil Incorporated, where we see Perry carefully maneuvering around Doofenshmirtz's lab, scared he might fall into a trap, but he hasn't set off a single booby trap and it's clear something is off. He runs into Doofenshmirtz and goes to kick him in the gut action movie style, but Doof steps back one overly confident and says, "Nah, you see, Perry the Platypus, you are trapped by the Danville section of the Endangered Species Act of 1973! Doof goes on to explain his tragic backstory. You see, Perry the Platypus, when I was a child, my parents did not show up for my own birth. But you know that already, yada yada yada. They did not love me, and then they loved Roger more. Anyways, I was raised by ocelots. I had a lovely foster mother who took me in and made me one of the pride. And so you see, Perry the Platypus, I am still legally considered an ocelot. Did you know that there are only 50 recorded ocelots still alive in the continental United States? Very sad for me as a member of a near-extinct species. It would be immoral for you to hurt someone critically endangered. In fact, you have made many attempts on my life this summer! Montage of Doof's security camera footage of their battles. Which is why I have decided to bring you to court! We cut back to Phineas and Ferb's backyard where they've decided to start cloning ocelots in their kiddie pool. Candace storms outside enraged and says, Phineas and Ferb, are you cloning ocelots in my Ducky Momo kiddie pool? Ferb's one line of the episode is, well, I guess it's more of a kiddie pool now. Candace storms away saying, I'm going to tell Mom! And Isabella turns to Phineas and says, oh, does your mom have experience in wildlife conservation? We cut back to the Doof and Perry plotline where the two are now in the Danville Hall of Justice, and we learn that Doof has spent his monthly alimony check on a defense lawyer, and Perry turns and sees the lawyer and then Vanessa helping her organize her briefcase, and Perry chitters at her and Vanessa shrugs and says, I'm thinking about going into legal defense. Sorry, Perry. The rest of the Doof and Perry B-plot is spent in court and Perry is about to ask for a public defense lawyer when Carl runs into the room and explains that he's Alka's official legal defense, and Perry looks at him like, is that even allowed? It doesn't matter because apparently the judge is out sick today. But because it's Danville, Roger's the judge now because he's the mayor and everyone loves him. The court case continues. Meanwhile, Phineas and Ferb have successfully cloned multiple ocelots from the original ocelot DNA they had on hand, and Isabella asks Phineas if these clones will experience health problems like premature aging. Phineas casually explains that Ferb figured out the problem while they were experimenting with stem cell harvesting. Back in the courtroom, Doof's ocelot foster mother has been brought to the stand, along with an ocelot to English translator. Doof gets emotional seeing her after so long. She says that he was one of her favorite child and he was as strong a hunter as anyone else in the family. It's incredibly sweet. The jury's in tears. Meanwhile, Isabella has established connections with a group in Texas who are going to release the ocelots back into their natural habitat, and using the cloned ocelots to prevent inbreeding, help establish an ocelot breeding program. The group explains that they are going to send a helicopter to retrieve the cloned ocelots from Danville and bring them to Texas soon. Isabella gets her Fireside Girls badge. Candace manages to get Mom to see the backyard only after the ocelots have been helicoptered off to coastal Texas, their primary habitat. Mom makes it into the backyard as Phineas stares wistfully over the fence and says, if you love something, you have to let it go. Candace goes, look, Mom! Look, look, look! And points at the Ducky Momo kiddie pool, devoid of cloned ocelots, where Baljeet and Buford are now chilling out, having settled their philosophical debate about the ethics of animal cloning. Back in the courtroom drama, Doof looks like he's about to win when an attendant walks into the courtroom and whispers something in Roger's ear. Roger looks up, grinning, and says, good news, everyone! My attendant here has just enlightened me that ocelots are no longer considered critically endangered. This settles the case, with Perry being decreed not guilty and the entire affair being called off. The courtroom cheers. Roger walks over to Doof and personally congratulates him on his species' return from the brink of extinction. Doof shouts, "Curse you endangered species classification system!" at the ceiling of the Danville Hall of Justice. Perry arrives back home just in time for Mom to say, "Who wants pie?" The end. Phineas and Ferb, are you cloning ocelots in my Ducky Momo kiddie pool? Well, I guess it's more of a kitty pool now, based on this Tumblr post about a fake lost episode. Hi? This is wild. I was scrolling through my dash and I was like, wait, I wrote that. Was it a real episode? Did my subconscious bury it and then regurgitate it into a Tumblr post? But no, this is a post referencing my post. A+ photo editing, OP. You had me shaking. PNF, undescribed. Post made it back to OP. Thank you. Good to hear my editing is shake-worthy. Original content, Lost Endangered Species Act episode, not a real lost episode.